has been hit.
Wow. We got 4 dudes this week. Let's go. Hello. Welcome to Shrimp Hours number 81?
81?
81? Yeah. I'm getting hard to count. Hi.
Andy Wallace.
I'm Drive-Thru. I'm here. Cody's here. Slab's here. Rusty's here. Well, Cody's in the middle of friggin'... Cody's actually almost in Canada. It's kind of based.
Yeah, when are you coming to visit?
It's just still very far from me. Canada's large and it's very horizontal in terms of where things actually are.
Like 90% of people live in like the Ottawa-Toronto corridor and Vancouver, and that's like 90% of the population right there.
Yeah, who was I telling this to? It's basically like North America and Australia, where we're in like 5 or 6 cities, and then there's a bunch of nothing in between everything.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, it's like Australia, but not upside down and cold, and less spiders. I guess we'll open up and talk about the whatever the hell our first segment is called. Can we just start calling it just segment 1? Segment 1. Football happened. That was yesterday. Shout out to the Ravens, they're dead. Shout out to the Lions, they're dead.
Shout out to the NFL, it's dead.
Yeah. I do appreciate just seeing on Twitter everyone collectively agreeing that like it's the least interesting Super Bowl in a very long time.
Literally a repeat of one we had not more than 4 years ago. It's like the exact same matchup.
The 2020 is the exact same thing.
Actual dynasties taking place, and I'm pissed because the Lions.
I just want to say, if the NFL actually was rigged, I mean, those are like the 2 least popular teams.
No, but they got Taylor now. I'm pissed because the Lions had a massive lead and I was gonna win the friggin' shrimp bracket challenge, and they biffed it and I lost my money. Yeah, I just wanted to fluke the shit out of it.
If the Lions won out, me and DT were gonna split the pot because we ended up tied.
Yes, but if the Lions won last night and the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, which I still think they will, then I would have won on my first try against a bunch of people who think they know shit about football and I don't know anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, CMR ended up taking the pot. So congratulations to him.
DT's like that one nerd that gets into the fantasy football pool,
but
he's just like a numbers nerd. He doesn't watch football at all, so he's just like obsessed with like the predictions and everything, and he just
dude, it was entirely me looking at these teams and being like, yeah, I like this one. I think this one's gonna win, and it ended up
I've heard of this team before.
Working out pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah, the CMR and DT, like the 2 dudes in shrimpage that know the least about football, admittedly. Like they're the ones that went the furthest in the bracket.
Something to be said
football
about playoff
fake.
football.
It's not real.
Rusty, are you back on the soup? Hold on, I just realized you got the big mug.
This is just coffee.
Okay.
Coffee.
We've been falling off the diet pretty hard the last 2 weeks.
These things happen. We'll get back to that later.
The diet a shot. Okay, yeah, we'll talk about that later.
The Rolex 24 Hours of Daytona was also this weekend. They biffed it and it actually only went 23 hours and 58 and a half minutes or something. Shout out to IMSA. You weren't there for that?
Yeah, that came out today.
They put the checkered flag out too early. And I don't
too early.
What?
Yeah.
I don't think NBC caught it. I was listening to Radio Le Mans, which is just a way better broadcast. And they at the start of the last lap were like, "Oh, for some reason they're saying this is the last lap. Like I don't know what's going on." But on NBC, it literally said 2 laps to go, and then they crossed the line. And I was like, "Checkered, woo, race is over." And I'm sure
the broadcast knew it was right, but the race control fucked it. Apparently. Is that what happened?
Yeah, whoever was in charge of telling the dude to wave the checkered flag, I guess, was just going by his watch and was like, "Oh, it's 1:40 p.m. The race started at 1:40 p.m." But like the day before, obviously 1:40 p.m. was when it was supposed to start, but they did a few pace laps first, and that's when the clock started. So someone fucked it.
Was it lead closer?
No, it didn't make a difference, luckily.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
not the flagman's fault because he obviously doesn't have a clock in front of him. He's just going by what race control tells him to do. So yeah,
dude, it's
isn't there like a group of dudes who have to talk to each other and agree, or is it literally like one guy makes the call?
Depends on the series. There
Well,
could
it
be just
should
one
be a
dude
group
up in
of
the
dudes.
tower.
Well, for 24 hours, you got to think there's got to be like a team of 6 or 8 dudes up there.
There was a
Like
thing
committee,
in the Canadian Grand Prix, I think probably like 5 or 6 years ago, when they had Winnie Harlow, the like model, wave the checkered flag, and whoever told her to do it made her do it like a lap early. And I don't think it actually made a difference, but she just got like death threats on Instagram from mad F1 fans when like it was just the timing guy who was like, hey, wave the flag. Obviously it's not her decision.
I just want to say it took us like 30 years, but the scoring error is finally back, baby.
I'm glad it didn't make a difference. There was kind of a close,
there, like GT, one of the GT classes, wasn't it? Could have made a difference.
not really. Like they were kind of close, but not like imminent passing close. Same with the battle for the lead. It was like the Cadillac, the 31 was catching the number 7 Porsche and like kind of keeping up with it, and then hit some traffic, and there wasn't really a battle for the lead. And it was a pretty similar thing across the GT classes.
So it's funny you
Toronto boy
there's,
Daniel Morad won GTD. Sorry.
No, you're good. Just a little piece of news in my neck of the woods that came out recently that
In
might be a
Wisconsin?
precursor. Dirt racing. That just might be a precursor for how like more things in motorsports in general are done going forward. Starting this year, I guess Lincoln Speedway in Pennsylvania, it's like a big sprint car track. They are switching to a electronic flagman. No more flagman. They're literally just gonna have a light up like by the flag stand that like signifies green, yellow, red, checkered. Yeah, and people are very mixed on social media about it because, I mean, I see both
Robots are
sides.
taking our jobs.
It's yeah. I mean, it's kind of putting a single dude in a dangerous position. I mean, yeah, literally, it could be done with a computer, just the act of like waving a fucking flag.
Yeah, it's just an
But at
LED
the same time,
panel.
it's like it. But at the same time, it's like a time-honored tradition, like part of racing.
Yeah.
Like the flagman's one of the most important people on the track, and you go especially at like local and short dirt tracks. Look in the stands. Whenever the dude's waving the flag or the checkered flag, there's like a bunch of kids like waving a bunch of flags. Like the flagman, I like gets a lot of kids into racing. Like weirdly enough, like from what I can see.
Yeah, when I was a little
interesting.
kid, I thought we literally couldn't start like racing at Greenville Pickens until the flagman showed up. So I just thought the racing wouldn't start until like 7 o'clock because the flagman was lazy or whatever. He didn't want to show up until like late.
That's interesting. I guess
the flags are colorful and you get to wave them around and everybody's looking at you. And they're like, when I was a kid, I wanted to be the flagman. I didn't want to be a driver because those guys got to risk their lives. But as a flagman, I just got to, wave pretty colors around.
I'm trying to think from the perspective of Lincoln Speedway. Do they just not want to pay the dude to be there?
Well, I think it's a
seems like it wouldn't be
like
that
those
much.
sprint cars, like a sprint car goes flying, dude. Those things get up there.
It's probably a bunch of different reasons. Yeah, safety, finances, just trying something new, just trying to like pave the way in some sort of new technology.
Hey, we're fucking talking about Lincoln Speedway. I didn't even know that track existed.
That is true.
There you go. And yeah, that's just that flagman thing, the flagman fiasco and the IMSA race kind of seemed like an interesting segue. So it's like, with errors like that happening now, it's like I wonder if they'll ever switch to something like that going forward in the future.
Yeah, F1 still does it, but only really as like a
it's like a visual
formality.
Thing.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like it's like, oh, we'll have a dude wave the flag. Like they already know the race is going to be over.
Day where a dude like physically goes out there like onto the track where cars are whizzing by to
wave
the
like
flag.
On the racing surface.
The Indy 500 when he's like on the pit wall waving the fucking flag as they're going green.
Dude, there were old F1 things at Monza. Like back when the pits used to just be the side of the racetrack, they'd have the flagman just walk. And he would be like almost in the middle of the track, just waving the checkered flag, hoping he doesn't get creamed. And he did.
Yeah, the running of the first Daytona 500, they had like photographers like all over the infield, just like standing like in the infield grass and shit. It's like, dude, people didn't give a fuck back then.
Chili Bowl still does that to this day. The flagman kind of steps out onto the track. He's like, all right, checkered flag. There's a time last year where he got like clipped by one of the cars that was spinning. He went to the hospital. He got like his ankle taped up, but he was back like 2 hours later, like walking and was fine. It just like tweaked his ankle a little bit. That was basically it.
Maybe there's a reason the flagman doesn't stand on the track anymore.
Yeah. I'm surprised those midget car races, like the fucking like track workers and everything, they're like behind like half a barrier and like just some well wishes. They treat those things like they're go-karts, like, oh, they can't do any damage. Like, no, those things get up there, man. I don't understand like why they treat them like they're freaking go-karts or like lawnmower races. They don't have any barriers in the way. They're just kind of like standing there right next to the track and shit.
Sorry.
Yeah, you could not pay me enough. Gotta be behind some kind of wall. Oh, the other thing I want to talk about, something we talked about 2 weeks ago and we said we'd give an update on, but then forgot because we were busy playing Fall Guys. We were talking about the Clash, and 2 weeks ago, I guess the Clash didn't originally intend to sell tickets for the Saturday events, which was kind of insane, but then luckily they were clever and saw the social media backlash and they're like, yeah, okay, just show up and watch some friggin' practice in the heat races. And that's
I forgot
this coming weekend.
Yeah. I think it was Slap. I saw in like one of the group chats had like the best rant, or he was even maybe like on like his tweets. It's like, this is literally the point of NASCAR, like racing. You sell tickets to have people come to have people come watch your race, and you're just
I was on the
not doing
podcast
that anymore.
Yes,
okay.
Like that's your entire business model is renting out racetracks, putting on races, and having people pay to come watch the races, and you're not doing the part that makes you money.
It's all about the TV contracts now.
It is cool that they're doing it for free because I love a free NASCAR race. They have one in Toronto every year. I'm a huge fan, just because it brings out a lot of like families who don't want to commit hundreds of dollars to bring their kids out to this event, and then like if the kid gets tired, they're stuck there. Like it seems like a nice event where people can just show up, enjoy it. Like they have Mexico practice and Cup practice in the morning, and then there's the Cup heats in the afternoon, which I think is
they got Brad Keselowski and Michael
racing.
They got Brad Keselowski and Michael Waltrip on the call for the Mexico race. They ain't getting a single one of those names pronounced right, bro.
I saw that tweet, dude. It's not gonna be good. Yeah,
we all know they're both fluent in Spanish. What are you talking about?
That'll be interesting.
Like, why did they get Daniel Suarez on the call? Like,
because he's racing. He's in the race.
Oh, he's in the Mexico race?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Badass. Okay.
He's making his return to the series, and they're racing on the Sunday morning before the Cup Series clash.
I know it hasn't been officially confirmed as to why NASCAR like made that stupid Saturday decision they wanted to do with the whole ticket thing. I think you guys kind of touched on it on the last episode. Yeah, it was probably because like they didn't want to have to pay security, the concession people, like just all the people to keep the facility open for selling what they probably thought was not going to be that many amount of tickets. And now because of the backlash, now they have to hire all those people anyway to have fans come in, and they're not even making any money with any tickets anyway. So they're trying to save money probably to start with, and now they're just losing a shitload more because of their stupid decision that they made and having to like handle the backlash.
I'm wondering if NASCAR itself stepped in and was like, hey fuckers, we'll cover for this thing, just get people into the track, you know? And it was the actual like event organizers themselves who like originally had that first stupid idea. I don't know. That's all speculation. Either way, it'll be cool. Watch it this weekend. If you're in LA or on television.
In other news, they need to bring back practice and qualifying and all that shit. Just like in all the races. Like I know NASCAR doesn't want to hear this, but stop being afraid of your fucking product. We want to watch the racing, you fucking morons.
Isn't there still no practice for the Daytona race? Like literally the Daytona 500
races this year. I don't think there's going to be any practice. I think there'll be practice at Iowa because there's a new track.
Wow.
200 miles an hour, first race of the season, all new parts, all new cars. Just let them rip. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, first laps turn to the track are fucking qualifying, and then you just go raw right into the qualifying races.
Yeah, and instead of like letting Trackhouse put Shane Van Gisbergen in a car for it, they're like, actually, you're not allowed to practice, therefore you have to go find an ARCA team that's willing to put him in a car to do that other race first. I'm sure the teams find that annoying as hell, right?
It's also
it's doing the ARCA race and then turning around doing the Xfinity race right after, because they said that's enough seat time. You did one race like a few hours ago.
Or,
that's
or
good
just
enough.
let them practice. I don't know. It doesn't seem that crazy.
You guys know that YouTuber LE Productions? It's like
a
kind of smaller channel, but getting pretty popular. Like lots of really good videos. I forgot which video it was. I was watching one of theirs recently, and they had a great comment talking about how some old school like race decades ago about how they're broadcasting practice and qualifying. It's like, yeah, surely that'll never change at any point in the future.
I gotta say though, Cup Series qualifying now is probably boring as all hell because the cars go so slow, and it'll just never be as cool as like the Ryan Newman clips when they were actually like just ripping it on the edge, digging all the time. Now it's just like foot flat before.
Well, at least when you did like 2-lap qualifying at the plate tracks, it was kind of interesting because they would go on the outside next to the wall on their like the first lap just so they could wind the motor up. And there was actually like a little bit of strategy, like where do you come down to the bottom line? Like do you wait until you
get the tri-oval?
Or do you do it in turn 4, try to get that big run down the hill and try to make up your time there and then go down to the bottom line? So that was always kind of fun at like Talladega and Daytona to just say like some guys would try to make it down in the tri-oval like at the last second. Other guys would do it alpha turn 4 just so they could go all the way down the banking and try to make up speed that way.
That's one of those things that
and then you had the like go or go home guys that would like literally like pull all the parts and pieces that were meant to make the car last for 500 miles, and it was like, we just need one good lap. Like take all the belts off of it, like all the fans, disconnect them, anything that could leach away horsepower, put the thinnest motor oil you can in there and fucking let it rip. And they would always be like top 5, top 10. It would be like a gaggle of them like up at the top, because that car was a car built to go 2 laps at speed, and that was it.
And it makes the race, and the motor detonates on lap 12 because they don't put the stuff.
Yeah, they would do like 5 laps out there, and they have to make a green flag pit stop to like put all the parts and pieces and shit back in there.
In terms of coming down the banking and winding up at the top, that's something iRacers know so well because everyone has the exact same equipment and every nerd wants to qualify on pole at Talladega. So you all know the meta of like running your first lap at the top and then bringing it down the banking. I do have one more thing to touch on Twitter this week. I'd like to give a quick shout out to Jenna Fryer for just being a fucking animal. I don't know if you saw that, Cody. But
I saw bits and pieces. I wasn't too caught up on it.
Before the green flag of the Rolex race, Jenna Fryer just dropped a tweet of like fucking Devlin DeFrancesco's puppy got run over in the motorhome lot. Hashtag Rolex 24. Like, just send tweet and just threw it out there, and everyone's like, dude, what the fuck? And then she like doubled, tripled, and quadrupled down, being like, oh, you know, he talked to me, but like there's a reason I'm putting this out there. Like when you hear the whole story, you'll know why this is news. And then the next day she was like, oh yeah, Chip Ganassi ran over his dog, and everyone's like,
and that's
okay.
I'm no longer going to be discussing this. Yeah, like that's the end of the story.
what? That's fucking.
That was like the major like breaking. Like
yeah. I don't even think she would get as much backlash if she wrote like, hey, I just talked to Devlin DeFrancesco, you know, this horrible thing happened. It was just like, nah, dog dead, motorhome, send tweet. And then the guy who
be a big story later.
The guy who started in Devlin's car in the Lamborghini wrecked it on like lap 5. So shut up. I think they got back going eventually.
Was that the clip of that Bozzy, the crew guy who's like pretty popular on social media, like throwing his hands up that I saw like getting
that
like, going viral?
Was one of the first incidents when an LMP2 was just a goofball and they spun it in front of the GT leader, which is that Lexus that Bozzy works for, and just took him out of the race. It was brutal. There was one dude in the 33 car who like last year he drove an LMP3, which was like the dentist class that everyone was memeing on. This year they have like enough top level cars that the dentists aren't allowed in the full on Rolex race, which is how it used to be and how it should be.
I'm sorry, I'm not aware of the dentist meta.
it's this
Like LMP3 was like just a bunch of like spec
it's just rich
prototypes.
dudes.
Just
Ferrari
like
challenge
and
drivers.
dentists.
Yeah, people who like are like, oh, I want to be a race car driver and just buy their way into the series. Well, one of them had so much money that he bought his way into an LMP2 so he could still race this year in like an even faster class. And I don't know how this team dynamic works because the other 3 drivers on his team are all like incredible in their own suit. And then there's this, I looked it up because this guy caused 3 cautions. And in the middle of the race, I'm like, who the fuck is this dude? He's an oncologist. It's an actual doctor who bought his way into this LMP2 car and just kept self-spinning and just binning the car. And he kept causing full course yellows, which in IMSA is like 15 goddamn minutes of pacing because they have to get all the classes in order and then pit them one at a time so it doesn't get all jumbled up.
Pit all those fuckers all at the same time. Fuck them.
Yeah. Well, they literally can't fit because they have like 60 cars. You cannot pit 60 cars at the same time. All right. They need to open up a right side pit lane at Daytona too, and just have a bunch of teams pit on the other side.
Yeah, and
like
put
a
no
goofy
wall
short
protecting
track.
them. If they get fucked, they get fucked. Just like the IMSA in Darlington back in the day before they had a pit wall, you just park right there on the fucking racetrack. If they die, they die.
I can't believe like even Le Mans used to be like that in F1 like way back in the day. It was just, there was no pit lane. It was just like, oh, there's dudes, they're just here next to the track and you just stop like on the side of the track and just get out of the car.
We need to bring back the tradition for these endurance races. Like they fire a gun and they all have to run to the cars and strap in and fire it up and all take off at once.
Yeah,
like
the
who's
old
got the
Le Mans
fastest
start.
leg speed? Yeah, who's got the fastest leg speed to get that early?
Didn't they have to stop doing that because guys just wouldn't buckle in and they would try to like buckle in while they were racing and shit?
Yeah, because it was literally faster to just get in the car and go immediately, so their seatbelts would just not be on for the first few laps, which understandably is
imagine going down the Mulsanne straight, just hitting like 170 miles an hour trying to fiddle with your fucking seatbelt.
There are some modern events that do it still, like in an homage, but they'll have like one guy already be strapped in the car, and then like another guy, like another driver on the team, has to run across the track and like tap the hood, and then the guy
tap
can
the
go.
car. It's like a relay race. They gotta tag the car and hand off the baton.
Kind of cool.
Have to pass a baton through the window.
Get Usain Bolt, teach him how to drive a race car and get him to do it.
Just so he can do like a 1 hour stint in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And just be considered a driver. It's a pure diva stint. I do want to roll into the media check-in by talking about the Netflix NASCAR series that is coming out at midnight tonight. So by the time you're watching this, it's already out. I forget what it's called. Probably should have. Full speed. That's pretty dumb.
Full speed.
I mean, all of the Netflix sports series have pretty dumb names, but like, I'm gonna suck some
Drive to
Netflix.
Survive's pretty sick.
I'm gonna suck some Netflix dick here for a second because I last night started watching the World Cup one that they did. I watched 2 episodes of that. Fucking phenomenal for a sport that you don't know everything about and you're just trying to like get into the storylines. God, they're good. Like really good. There's a reason they've done it for like every sport ever, and all the sports love it because more people will get into the sports from watching the Netflix shows. But I know I'm gonna break one of my own rules about complaining about things that haven't happened yet. But I know there's going to be some morons on NASCAR Twitter. There's going to be some kids being like, I've already seen it. I've already seen it. They put out the trailer. And kids were like, that was a shot from 2016 Netflix. You think you're so slick. It's like, let them tell the fucking story. If you know everything about NASCAR, you're not the target audience. It's not you. There's already people who are sort of understandably scared of like casual fans rolling in just because they watch the NASCAR Netflix show, which like that's not a bad thing at all.
I see both sides.
I see so much hate for it.
I get it's targeted to a more casual audience, but at the same time, you got zillions of cameras at every NASCAR race. We can't get B-roll footage from like this fucking year if like we're like making a season about this year. Like
even
it's really
Fox
that hard.
promoting the Daytona 500 can't even get relevant footage of next year.
Like I can get them fucking B-roll. I can get them B-roll from this fucking year. Like,
well, no,
send me a check for like.
It's about telling like the actual stories of the drivers and sitting them down and getting them lubed up to like lay it all out there like they do in the F1 show. Even if it has to be awkward when you like make them play soccer with their kids and then have their kid ask them what they think about the Daytona 500, because that's gonna happen. But it makes for good goddamn television.
We'll see.
I saw that clip where like Kyle and Caitlin Larson were just like walking around like outside somewhere and just like, yeah, it was like you could tell it was like a forced conversation. Like the director was like forced them to have.
There's a lot. I'm just like, used to it in Drive to Survive. Because it literally, I remember, it just makes me think of the like Gunther Steiner having dinner with his wife and his kids, and his kid is like, "Daddy, what do you think about Max Verstappen?" I'm like, okay, shut up. But
is that actually a clip?
Something like that. They do such a good job of telling the stories though, which like you can only do so much in a live broadcast about sort of the storylines of how someone got to a specific place. And I think it shows a lot of the personality. Everyone always talks about how NASCAR drivers have no personality. No one's seeing the personality. I think this will be huge for that. I just think people need to stop drinking the haterade for no reason.
I just want one NASCAR driver to just pull a fucking Caleb Hoffman, just tell somebody to go kill themselves.
I don't know if you do.
Your life serves no purpose. You should kill yourself now.
Jesus Christ. I'd love to get through a week of this show without someone saying the KYS, but I guess we can't do that nowadays.
No, I'm gonna have the low tier God button. You're just gonna hear it all the time.
I have removed Slap's ability to push soundboard buttons in this Discord and in the other Discord too, because
we're watching football. It might have been a little bit drunk and just started hitting the.
He's like a kid. He just can't help himself. He just starts hitting buttons. God,
that's my TikTok addled Zoomer brain coming out.
Jesus.
Just itches that scratch in my lizard brain helps me helps me just feel good. I get that fucking hit of dopamine, you know?
Yeah, whenever Slap hits,
makes you want to hit the pipe. The pipe is the absolute worst.
That's why he wants to hit it. That's so loud.
Why everybody fucking hates it, but
yeah, it's because of the reaction. Yeah, look at the reaction he gets.
There's like 12 of us watching the Lions game.
I'm always asking who wants a fast countdown because I know everybody fucking hates that shit.
Dude, it's like it's a tie game to go to the Super Bowl, and Slap's just going. Dude,
and we have, I would say, probably 200 soundboard buttons. We have an immense array of things, but Slap has 5 of them favorited, and he always goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're never like clever or funny. It's just boom, and everyone's like, Slap, what the fuck?
Listen, I'm too base.
Look here.
You'll hate me for it.
Look, listen.
It's not as bad as that time that Gary Owen had the pipe set as his global join sound. So when they dragged him into the core booth, they just got a load of pipe on the broadcast. Like at least
that's actually pretty funny.
That is pretty good. That's pretty good. I just can imagine how pissed they got.
Dude,
Jacob immediately just, what the fuck was that?
Dude, I'm glad people are starting to catch on in this meta. Gabe Wood was talking about the other day how much of a hater Jacob is on every core broadcast, just out of nowhere for nothing. Like we were running at Chicagoland last week, and he was like, "Oh, and drive-throughs led a lap, even though he hasn't won a core race in 6 years." I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to survive out here.
I love it.
He did the same thing with Gabe Wood. They went on board and they're like, I don't know if this is Gabe Wood or Robert Dorman, but we're not usually on board with either of them anyway. He's just a hater, and I love it. But except when it's about me. That being said, do we have any media to check in on this week?
Not media, but I found an interesting diecast at Walmart today. It was one of my favorite recent paint schemes of recent memory, and quite a controversial character nowadays. So, Rusty, you might
So I saw a tweet. I think Harris Lou
burger.
retweeted himself from like a couple of years ago where he put up a tweet saying like, you don't see companies making logos specifically for race cars nowadays, but that is the one exception I can think of on that Wendy's car when she actually has like a race helmet on, even though the normal Wendy's logo doesn't. It's like an old school one. That's cool.
It's a sick car. Giant burger on the hood. Like the number placements actually.
Big burger, dude.
Big burger fan.
Dude, I was thinking of actually dropping money on the Baconator one with the 2 strips from the Chicago Street Course. I now think that is top 5 paint scheme like ever. It is so good.
You're
so
insane.
good.
You're insane. I'd buy it for the meme just because he put that into the same wall 4 times in one race, which is genuinely impressive.
True. Ended his career.
That
as many strips of bacon as there was cautions. Did you guys see? Did you guys talk about it? I know we have like a recurring segment where you like to clown on like Stuart Haas Racing for them trying to like rebrand and. Did you see that video where they got like all like 150 some employees into like a conference room or like a big like theater room, and Tony came on the mic. He's like, yeah, I basically like, no, we're basically at the bottom right now. We're not at the top looking down. We're at the bottom looking up. I
didn't see that. That's hilarious though.
It was like a little like, once again, they're trying to like motivate the employees. Like, hey, like I know we kind of got an uphill climb now. Like our Hall of Famers retired. Like we got a bunch of young, kind of unproven guys and
yet they tried to
questionable
big
equipment now.
They tried to be all friggin', we have lots of history and grit and whatever the hell else. And then they're like,
I suppose if it's
here's Noah Gregson's paint scheme, guys. It's just a gray car with some Rush logos on it. Dude, I know we're not doing like we're not doing a drip or drown segment, but I put a tweet about this the other week. How like this is one of the best social media graphics of all. Like this is a sick social graphic for just a sad excuse of a paint scheme. Like what a turd! God, this thing sucks.
NH is my favorite driver. I get that whole having the text behind the dude thing, but can we at least see a little bit of the O and the A?
You can. It's on the bottom of his helmet. You just have to look.
Oh my!
Just not around his eyes.
10 out of 10 graphic, Cody.
That's
Quit
a sick
hating.
graphic.
Also, make the Noah just a little bit bigger so you can see like the outside of the O too. That's the only thing I'd change. It is a sick graphic. That's my one critique.
Something that I've noticed: Stuart Haas, for some reason, has. I don't think Ford knows what Ford's doing with the Mustang front end. They've randomly brightened these plastic parts on some of the cars, but not all of the cars. So all of the Stuart Haas renders have it, including the Xfinity series, even though they aren't like that on the reveal car, but then they were on that later, and now they've seemingly, as they wrap the cars, gone back to just having a black grill. So you'll probably see a tweet about that. I just don't know what the fuck they're doing, and they don't know what they're doing either. But that's just me. I have beef with Ford's inability to be consistent with their
I like how
NASCAR
DT will
models.
hyper-fixate over stuff the rest of us just don't give a shit about or even notice.
It's the Cup Series, bro. Come on. Come on. You're spending hundreds of millions of dollars on this new dark horse, and they can't even get it right. I'm with DT on this one.
Yeah, I'm with DT. This is like, I know this is kind of graphic design nerd stuff, but yeah, it's like one of those things where once you see it, you can't unsee it.
It's the same when people like I'm like, oh, this paint scheme looks like shit. This logo's tiny. This branding doesn't work. And someone's like, what do you care? It's like, whatever, man. It's like, dude, if you're a company and you're putting hundreds of thousands of dollars into sponsoring a race car, you want to get the best possible branding and shit out there. I
would issue the Caleb Hoffman death threat if they fuck that up. Like,
yeah.
What was that Tyler Reddick one from a few years ago when he was still in the 8 car? They had like, it was Lenovo, I think, and instead of having like
just
one
said
big
Lenovo.
it like had like 3 like tiny logos just kind of scattered around the side, like where you couldn't read any of them like from like further than 10 feet away.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'm interrupting this whole conversation by saying I just noticed I have like 5 drinks right here, and I'm like blacked out on caffeine, and I have no idea what I'm doing with my life right now. I got a Mountain Dew, a coffee, and a fucking water. I am sorry. I am sorry. I had to like let the world know. We're entering. So, I don't even know. All right, keep it moving. Keep it moving. What happened?
It is 9 p.m. Central Time.
Rusty's like, just out of nowhere. I'm like tons of drinks.
I'm telling you, I can feel it. I can feel it. Like this is a problem.
Those are heart palpitations.
Oh,
tons of caffeine.
So, speaking of which, we learned with Cody the other week that they have that friggin' what they put on the Tyler Reddick card, the Beast Unleashed, like Monster Energy with alcohol, doesn't actually have any caffeine in it. It's not an energy drink.
It's no energy shit. It's no sugar.
Like it.
Yeah, I was disappointed. I wanted a monster, just a straight up monster with vodka in it, and
I thought it was some Four Loko shit.
You read the fine print on the back of the can. They have this kind of cute like little background thing. It's like, oh, we wanted an alcoholic drink that tastes like Monster without like all like the like energy and shit. It's like, what's the point of Monster Energy if you're gonna take the energy out?
Yeah.
Of all the shit the FDA is gonna allow on the shelf, come on, like get us the caffeine from the Monster into this drink.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember when everybody like collectively shit their pants about 10 years ago about Four Loko? Like, oh, it's got caffeine in it, and they're marketing it to kids. Like, no, they never did that.
They were
marketed to kids.
Just because they have a colorful can, like
the pretty colors and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate that whole thing. It's like, oh, it's fruity, so it's marketed to children. It's like, there's adults that like fruit flavors too. Like, hate to break it to you.
Like, it's got as much alcohol in it as 4 beers. Like, yeah, so does an equivalent amount of fucking wine. It's like, what?
I don't know if I'd go that far, but what were you saying, Rusty?
Nothing. Keep it moving.
Okay.
But Rusty is like gone from like the caffeine jitters to like full caffeine schizo brain.
There's the title right there. There's the podcast title.
Full caffeine schizo brain. I don't know how to spell that. This is what eating regular food does to a motherfucker.
Yeah. After he got past the bone broth.
So speaking of which, Slap, I heard that you tried the bone broth.
I lasted all of 36 hours without solid food.
He gave in to the voices to eat solid food.
I could not do Ramadan, dude. That's just not happening.
Dude, oh, come on. It's so easy.
No.
I think you need to cue the Animal Planet music by now. I think we're getting into that
territory.
All right, sure. There we go.
You did say we were going to do this during Animal Planet.
There we go. Let's get us back on track.
We're so back.
You didn't listen to Rusty's advice. Was just to rip waters. Whenever you get hungry, you just gotta rip waters.
But dude, I had to eat some solid food. I had to chew something.
Tell me about what was going through your mind, or even that little pit in your stomach. That like, what made you go back to food? Like, talk me through like the narrative in your head, because once you start hyper fixating on it, you're fucked.
Before that, I just want to specify.
You mean hunger?
I just want to specify to the audience. Rusty went on like a 5-day trip of not eating solid food and instead drinking water and bone broth.
I would like the world to know I had never felt better. My energy was just cruising. My mind was more positive than ever. And drive through Eddie. I'll just throw Slap and Cody in there. They were hating on me the whole time. I was just like, I have never felt better. Like my life is perfect.
Hating.
And they were like, Rusty, shut up. Like, fuck it.
That's the caffeine schizo brain talking. Code.
Yeah.
Don't listen to him. I'm telling you.
It's on the
record. It's on the recorded podcast, or the only thing I said about Rusty is, hey, you're looking really good. You're looking trim. You're looking.
And the only thing I said was like, hey, you have time. Like, it's an interesting experiment to try out.
No. He was full on hater mode for like a week. He's like, oh, this is Rusty. Rusty's so stupid. Rusty, shut up.
Never said that. You're
We're being gaslit.
Right, I'm gonna say something negative now. Don't go on the bone broth diet. You'll go schizo brain. You'll think the whole world's against you.
No.
If you want to be like this man right here, stop eating food.
No. The reason I'm going crazy is because I'm back on like the normal approved diet because I'm going back to food. I've got sugar in my system.
Got
And
normie
dude, I'm
food.
telling you, I have been the worst
tell.
human
I can
being
tell.
for two. I've been the oh my god. All right, whatever.
I'm sorry.
It's so Jover. It's never been more Jover than it is
I'm
right
never
now.
eating food again. I'm going to the mountains.
Rusty. There was one thing I am curious, as much as we're clowning it. During 5 days of having not solid food, what does one's number 2 look like at that point?
You want to know? You really
That's
want
a
to
good question.
You can spare the details, but you can still try to explain it without getting it super into details.
Let's just say after 3 or 4 days, you probably don't want to fart.
Oh, God. I hope no one's eating while listening to this fucking show. God.
Unless the point of the diet is you don't eat.
Yeah, that's true. Let's go back to Slap's experience, because that's what Rusty was asking about. What was it like when you were just really ready to give in?
After 24 hours, they're asking him a question like, what was it like after 24 hours?
It was like 30 hours, like a day and a half, and then I was just like, man, I got some chicken I could cook up, and it would taste really fucking good.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of Montreal steak season, a little bit of olive oil, fry that bitch up in the frying pan.
Hell yeah.
Was it good?
Rusty's all wound up.
I just wanted to chew stuff. I just wanted to be a fucking carnivore and just fucking tear into some meat.
Was it better after not having eaten for a day and a half?
It was instant regret.
Yes.
Damn.
Yes.
It was just like, man, it's like, have you guys ever watched Super Size Me, where the dude ate nothing but McDonald's for 30 days? And then after the first week, he's just like, man, I need my hit. I gotta go to McDonald's and I gotta get my fix. And so he would eat and it was instantly feel sad about it. He's like, fucking hate this shit. And then a few hours would go by. He's like, I gotta have my fix, man. I gotta go back. I gotta have more McDonald's. And then he would take his first bite and be like, fuck, dude, I fucking hate my life. I hate this shit. It was like that. It was like I was a junkie getting back on the sauce. And I was just like, man,
but the sauce was food.
Yeah, the sauce was food.
Dude, I'm telling you, it ruins your life. The last 2 weeks, look at me. I got a 12-pack of Mountain Dew. It's ruined my life. It's literally ruined my life.
The desk right next to the desk,
dude.
He went from ripping waters to ripping Mountain Dews, and now he's just done.
The 12-pack at the desk might be a dead giveaway.
Dude, I love some Mountain Dew.
Yeah, it's just
Rusty's had a
as soon as you go
revelation
back to
today.
eating food, you just have instant regret. You're like, fuck.
I was gonna say earlier, I think Rusty's all hopped up right now because he's realizing that our darkness retreat is dead.
Dude,
Oh,
I
yeah.
had it circled. I had Aaron Rodgers' personal room booked.
Yeah, sadness.
Do we have any more Animal Planet to roll through here?
There's more
Cody,
front yard goats today.
Cody, how have you been in the
the
Michigan
snowmobile world?
Yeah.
Pretty interesting. Last weekend was up in Wisconsin at Eagle River, so that was a little bit more closer home. We actually had snow up there. And then this weekend, we were in, where the fuck was I? Traverse City, Michigan. They built this little temporary track out of basically what was the parking lot in a mire. This the field next to a mire.
Great.
There's some sort of partnership with the two companies, I guess, where they allowed them to do it on the property. But
Is that Williamsburg?
Yes, the Williamsburg. It's just outside of Traverse City. And so to build these snowmobile tracks, they basically form up the shape of the track, and they spent the months leading up to
A PBR.
Yeah, that was snowmobile.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, that is
yeah,
a PBR
yeah.
snowmobile. That's sick.
They spend the months leading up to this race is when it's supposed to be cold. Just dumping water, making laps with a water truck to freeze up and make this super thick ice that they use for the track. But Mother Nature's been pretty warm the last few months. Or weeks, I should say. And yeah, just everything has melted except for the goddamn snowmobile track. like the little ring
and
of ice.
Even that's
left.
starting to look thin. It's getting brown at the exit of the corners.
At the exit of 2 and 4, it was basically mud by the end of the race.
Oh.
And yeah, it was
But it wasn't even the end of the race, right?
It was scheduled to be 250. They shortened it to 130, and they basically like scrapped like most of the prelim and like non-essential classes from the race weekend. It was a miracle they did any racing at all, because the first day, the prelim day on Saturday, like literally 5 minutes in, like 2 people like hydroplaned to hit a massive bump and just got flung from their snowmobiles, and the thing like went fucking tumbling. And that was like, yeah, 2 like in the first 5 minutes. Like, is this just gonna be how the rest of the weekend is? Fortunately, those were like the only 2 big spills. And it was the main race was pretty exciting, because around lap 30, the leader, who was like clearly the fastest sled, like the dominant sled of the race, hit this massive rut and just went flying out of the thing, went tumbling. His sled went like skidding away, like without a person on it. He ran up to the thing, got it started again, started from the back, and that motherfucker worked his way back to the front like in like maybe 50 laps and ended up winning the race.
Damn,
pretty damn exciting.
Beast.
Didn't have any like mechanical issues, no driveline failure, or like what happens like your skids get all fucked up.
Most of these people that fell, like their sled would fall over too and like dig in and tumble. This dude, he kind of hit a bump, it just spit him off, and the thing just kind of like went sliding like straight without him, just kind of ghost riding. Like it didn't fall over or tip over at all. It just kind of spit him off.
Because I'd have to imagine snowmobiles are a lot heavier than say like a motorcycle or something. So if they flip, they're tearing themselves apart.
Dude, it's scary. And it's such like a different industry, because my producer a couple times on some of the, especially some like the like minor tumbles, like I guess I've like zoomed out a little too much. And he's like, no, you can zoom in, like as long as the dude's fine, like it makes for a decent replay. But just coming from the dirt side and just like car motorsport side, it just goes against all instincts to see a literal body like tumbling across the track, be like, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. Yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing that happened with Chili Bowl last year.
You're like, no, zoom in. He's good, man. He's good. He'll be fine.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, there was a couple guys that took like a pretty nasty tumble, and they just get up, they're like, I'm fine.
What's the snow like out in Sioux?
Non-existent.
It's not much better. Like the race directors for this I-500 race this week have said, like, we're like, I don't care if it's on ice or mud, like we're doing this fucking race, we're not canceling, but there's talks of already
it means you get
possibly shortening it, which I mean, I can't blame them. I mean, you want to do the race, and motorsports in itself is dangerous already, but you can't be adding like even more dangers on top of them by making negligent decisions by, hey, I know there's no ice or snow left, so we're not done with the race though, so even though it's all mud and basically just dips and valleys, let's have these guys on 120-mile-an-hour machines go out there and rip it full throttle. Meanwhile, if they fall, they got 20 other dudes with these 1,000-pound sleds coming up behind them at 120 miles an hour with mud in front of them being sprayed up so where they can't see. It's like, yeah, that's not a good recipe. So yeah, I have no idea. I'm not the race director. I'm not like the race control, so I have no idea what's for sure happening with this upcoming weekend, but it might get shortened at the very least.
Dude, I just pulled it up on a map. One of the main streets in American Sioux is called Easterday Avenue.
Dude, yeah, it's like, Benjamin Easterday Avenue. It's right where the track's on, yeah.
I do have a solution to the safety issue that NASCAR would provide. They would just pave it and just get rid of all the curbs, and so it's just a flat parking lot.
And cut the power in half.
Yeah.
And then everything will be great.
Slow them down. Slow them down.
Slow them down. Stages, competition cautions. Less horsepower.
A debris caution with 10 to go.
Pave all grass.
Put the 20-minute clock up. All right. With
this
that,
race sucks. Put it on the clock.
Yeah, it's kind of refreshing, even though it's not nearly as like big and mainstream and glamorous, to be seeing motorsports or actual men racing. Just
real men racing, lawnmower racing down at fucking Patriot Speedway in Gaffney, South Carolina.
Dude, I know it's like kind of old now. I gotta find the clip. I can't put my phone down. Could you look up the clip, DT? Scroll back through Flow's social media to like a week ago or so. there was this event called the Battle at the Barn. It was this indoor go-kart.
That's
thing.
the go-kart
like,
thing where that dude cut the track and almost killed that guy.
Okay, did you talk about it? If you talked about it, I won't go into it too much. But yeah.
I didn't, because I think it was just all over Twitter that one day, because it went around. Even like F1 Twitter got a hold of it, and they were having a field day.
No.
Yeah, that kid that like got dumped, and then he tried to get the leader back, and like almost took out the corner worker's legs,
yeah,
like
he
cutting
almost
through
killed
the infield of
that
the track.
guy. Just to cut through the final. I mean, yeah, not really, but
he fucked up his legs at the very least.
Just to send it in the final quarter and take that other dude out. That's crazy.
Dude, I'm scrolling through. He's like, I don't know. And the guy gets like, I was like, that was totally uncalled for.
Oh, dude, it's you. I'm scrolling through
dude,
just the flow Twitter.
What are these? Dude, these are like fucking caged snowmobile. They're basically like a sprint car snowmobile hybrid.
Oh yeah, the modified snowmobiles. I tweeted about this.
Dude, what? They're like midgets.
These things are insane. Yeah, they're like mini sprint cars on ice.
I've never seen anything like this before.
I hadn't until last year either. Now they're one of my favorite things.
Oh yeah,
dude,
they
3 wide. Crazy.
Yeah, now they put this on Twitter. I said, yeah, they finally made it modifieds, but they're snowmobiles.
I don't want to show too much of this, but
yeah.
that's sick.
Someone's are talking over it. Yeah.
I like how that guy's name is Grabowski.
It should be right around this time because it was last week in Eagle River when that battle at the barn, like shit was going down.
Dude, they ripped like a 10 wide start.
Jesus Christ, the acceleration on those things.
Is this all your camera work from the talker?
Depends on the day. On the final day, I was on the top. The first 2 days, I was the infield guy. Yeah, that's right when the battle. Oh, here we go. Battle at the barn. I see the.
Ew! What the hell? They got little 3-wheel pit bikes and stuff there.
3-wheelers.
Oh, is this it? No. Oh, that was a pretty. Go back and watch that one that you were just above. Yeah, that one. This is a pretty.
Just all visuals on this podcast, but.
Okay, well, we'll describe it. So it's 2 carts racing, and
they're on this tiny little.
Oh shit! Never mind. I thought that was gonna show the crash.
Oval, and this thing is rubbered the hell up, dude.
Dude, it's like.
Oh, here's a crash. Do you want to watch a crash?
Yes, this is the one that I was thinking it was.
Oh,
that kid is concussed.
Oh,
well, you went head first into the wall.
That last post that I thought was the crash, they're saying that kid that crashed earlier like won that race, so I guess he was fine.
That's kind of based. Here it is. This is the clip. This was. For some reason, whoever put this on socials cut off the first half of the clip. They pulled a NASCAR on Fox, and it's like
in the replies they probably have the full clip.
Yeah, you're seeing after the first guy got dumped, then he comes back, almost murders a corner worker, and just completely cuts the track to take out this other dude and prevent him from winning. Which, yeah, it's kind of embarrassing.
I love the audio too. You don't have to play it, but yeah, the announcer was like the whole the final last lap. He's like, he just didn't even know what the fuck was happening anymore.
Yeah, he was just yelling.
And then the moment he gets there, he's like, that was totally uncalled for.
It was.
Yeah. And then they awarded the winner, the win to the third place guy. And then the
clip,
which makes
he's sense.
Like, and so is your winner. He's the only one that did anyone.
Do we have any more Animal Planet for this week? Because if not, I think Slap might have. Oh.
Yes, I forgot. Yeah, in the chaos of this past weekend with the whole mushy grounds and everything, I got my car stuck.
Oh no! Do you have a picture?
Had to be
rubble.
No, that's the thing. I didn't take any visual aids. I was just focused on getting it out because
that's fair.
Because I was like one of the first people there that morning, and they said like the grounds are going to be mushy, and I saw that they're mushy, and to get to where the trailer was, like it was kind of up on a curb. And the parking situation was weird. You couldn't park on the road, so you kind of had to be on the lawn or something. So I was trying to get as close to the trailer as possible. To get onto the field, like there's this little driveway entrance, and then it kind of sloped downward, but right next to the road was where it was most uphill. So I was just hugging the road where I thought it was fine, but at one point I just sunk right in, and that was in the morning. And then like some of the track people are like, "You stuck?" I'm like, yeah, I think so. And I was close enough to the trailer, so I just grabbed all my shit. It's like, all right, I'll worry about this like after the broadcast.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was far from the only one that got stuck. Like there's even people in like 4-wheel drive pickups that were like getting stuck in the mud. And so yeah, finally I tried rocking it out a couple times. It didn't work. And like there was track people with tow trucks that were just going around helping people. So I was just kind of waiting on them. One of our crew guys that had a 4x4, he's like, "Oh, I'll get my truck. I'll tow you out." He got stuck. So I'm waiting for this dude to show up. His truck is stuck. And then I guess like some local private towing company, like just sensing like, holy shit, this is a gold mine, is just circling the lot, like offering people like, "Hey, you stuck? Yeah, there'll be $200."
Dude,
like literally just
no
charging people
bigger
$200
sharks than tow truck companies.
Yeah. Eventually, one of the track like
water.
Eventually, one of the people, the track crew, like came and helped me. Like my car doesn't have a tow hitch and it doesn't really have anything in the front like to grab onto.
Yeah.
So we literally just looped it through like the leaf spring in the rear and kind of just gently pulled it out. It actually worked like a charm. And had to pop it down on the curb. It was like kind of scraped the underside a little bit going back down the curb. It was like, it's better than being stuck, but
yeah,
as long as it still
just
drives.
been through worse.
That that Ford Focus has had a hell of a life in the 2 years that I've owned that fucking thing. It's been pissed on, spit on, fucking been
piled
stuck
full
in
of
mud.
shit, driven everywhere.
All the debauchery from Road America was transported on that thing.
Yeah, we were looking at our campsite from Road America the other day. And it's like, what?
I gotta find that tweet again because I was looking up. I was trying to get pictures. This is when I was trying to get pictures of Slap in a friggin' Swamp Rabbits shirt. So I was looking up like old Slap tweets from Road America, and I forgot that he publicly put out a picture of our campsite from the morning after Road America, and it's demolished. Like the tent is
flashbang DT, and he like fell over, and, like took out the thing.
Nah, this was when Cody was terribly drunk, and we were trying to get the last thing of firewood open, and then he broke the leg of the tent.
I tripped over. I think I tripped over the corner, like where the stake was that everyone had tripped on. It finally just gave out.
So in this photo, it's propped up on Cody's little plastic drawer thing, but it went even lower than this. And because this fell, it knocked over the cute little shelf full of stuff, and it ended up just all over the ground. I want y'all to know, we got this place like fully cleaned up. Like we didn't leave a mess, but the morning after was
not a scrap was left behind.
This is
I just want to point out. I know I've been memed and clowned on a zillion times, and rightfully so to an extent. But I just want to point out that entire campsite, all the tents, tables, chairs, like coolers, the fire pit, scooter, and all the occupants was able to be transported to and from that campsite with 2 trips of a goddamn measly Ford Focus.
2 trips, okay.
Of a Ford Focus, like that's a tiny fucking car. Focuses aren't exactly known for being huge and having a lot of storage space.
If it wasn't for the fire pit, I think we would have fit, honestly.
Or the scooter. Like let's be honest, it was mainly the scooter that was the big
scooter
thing.
Was pretty big too.
like that's one of my toys. I'm not taking that. I'm not gonna not take that to my fucking my adult playground that is Road America.
It was pretty cool to
Plymouth dirt track, and
dude,
like,
you got
to fucking left us. He was just zipping on the fucking scooter.
But it was based.
I left you to go get drinks. I refilled the cooler and brought it back to you guys. Remember?
Yeah, because we weren't allowed to bring our own drinks into Plymouth. So in between heats, we just went to the exit, sat at a little table at the exit. Cody ripped back to the car, got a bunch of drinks, came back to us, like shuttled alcohol to the parking lot. We got to down some drinks. He brought his coolers back, and then we just went right back into the track. That was great. I do also appreciate how we showed up to Road America super early, and Cody already knew the meta to like go up the hill and find a picnic table.
One of those picnic tables, yeah.
I went around the brush and I was like,
it was like up the hill.
Table over here. There's a picnic table. We got to get it now.
Yeah, and then Cody went back to get the second load of stuff, and then Slap and I just like dragged this picnic table over and got it set up, and we even like used some extra firewood to wedge it to make it like pretty much
table level,
somewhat level.
Yeah, those things are first come, first serve, and they're very nice to have for the weekend.
Dude, when we had the mini like party afterwards, we had like 15, 16 dudes on our little site. That was money. It was perfect.
I would, DT. I wish you could have come for the carousel spot. I mean, it was basically the same. It was just the slightly cooler added experience of being right there, bordering the track. Just sip your morning coffee and just watch some cars rip through the carousel.
Yeah.
Dude, those Miatas are loud as fuck because they go full throttle through there.
And they just pull the mufflers off of them and just let them scream.
And I go through the turn 7 full throttle and smash into each other head on.
Like legit, those Miatas and the carousel were louder than the cup cars because the cup cars are off throttle that whole way around.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they're just coasting. They're just coasting in second gear, like for the first half of the carousel, pretty much.
Hey, Slap, do you have a story to tell us?
I do. This is the return of the crazy ass moments in history.
We're so back.
We're so back. Hit that fucking button.
It's time.
Yeah.
Props too, by the way.
It's time for Slap's crazy ass moments in history.
Cody. It's so Jover.
All right, Slap, where are we going for the grand return
All right.
of the crazy ass moment segment?
Get your UN blue helmets. We're going into the
No.
Oh no. Hey, I even got the Belgian sticker still on there. So this is like authentic.
Man,
we
I'm sitting here talking
colonizing?
about props. I'm sitting here talking about props and visual aids. This motherfucker's got a military helmet ready to go.
He would. Like he would. I'm not even surprised.
I'm not. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Should I get my other prop?
Yes.
Are we allowed to show it?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we can show guns, I'm pretty sure.
All right.
Well, it might be a
no.
different
Yeah,
symbol.
we're going into the Congo.
All right,
Is that
that's
an
the thumbnail
FAL?
right there.
What is that?
All right. So 1960, decolonization is all the rage. You know,
Oh, yeah.
India's been decolonized. Canada's going to quickly follow. And pretty much all of the assets in Africa, they're owned by Germany, France, Great Britain. They're all getting decolonized. The Kingdom of Belgium had what is now today, I believe it's called the Democratic People's Republic of the Congo or whatever. That was
it,
that was the Belgian asset they had down there. Well, in 1960, they decided to decolonize, but they have absolutely no plan on what to do. They sign a piece of paper, say, yep, you're a free independent country, see ya, bye. And they didn't really think about what to do with like all the white Belgians who stayed behind, all the factions they had pitted against each other to maintain control there, all the ethnic differences of all the people there.
It's
they
a
just
big
said,
fucking country too.
dude, you look at it on like a map of Africa, it's like this big fucking chunk right in the middle. And so there's like
That thing is large. Dude.
Yeah,
the
that
DRC. Look at that. And it's just tons of jungle too. They got so much jungle down there.
I like how they just made it go all that little strip that goes out to the coast so they could have a port.
It's important.
That is very important.
This is me being like stupid when it comes to geography, but I just think of Africa. I think it's like just a lot of like open desert. I forget that a giant chunk of the middle of that giant chunk of the middle of that continent's right at the equator. So it's like just super rich jungle.
Also, isn't Ethiopia the only country that didn't get colonized?
Yep.
Kind of based. Shout out to Ethiopia.
Yeah, they fought the Italians to a standstill right before World War II broke out. But basically, Congo is a tinderbox just waiting to get lit. And when the Belgians drop out, everything goes immediately to hell. Warlords are fighting over everything. There's just some of the most horrible atrocities you can imagine. Just people just wiping each other out for no reason other than you were on the wrong side when the Belgians were in charge. We don't like you. We're going to massacre an entire village. And it is just dozens of warlords fighting over this insanely massive area. And so after all that has gone straight to hell, basically the UN tells Belgium, like, hey, you need to get your shit together down there.
You need to clean up your mess.
Yeah, so they send in Belgian paratroopers and special forces, and they try to do some peacekeeping down there. The UN goes down there. Really, what ended up being the deciding factor was Commando 5, which was a US-backed mercenary group, which was full of some of the weirdest eclectic group of motherfuckers you've ever seen. These are World War II vets, former Waffen SS. These are guys from Rhodesia and South Africa. These are British SAS guys. Just every weirdo, eclectic guy who didn't fit in with society and did nothing but fight for a living was part of Commando 5. And these guys actually were the basis for George Lucas, his Mos Eisley spaceport, the wretched hive of scum and villainy. That this group of guys directly inspired that whole scene where they go into the bar and it's all these weirdos and aliens and stuff. You know, there's like a praying mantis in the back playing jazz or whatever. And these guys, there was like one dude who has like an eye patch made out of a Brazilian flag, and he's just out there running around with an FAL just shooting off into the jungle. There's another guy that has like a parrot mounted on his shoulder. Like it's just such a weird group of dudes. And they were led by a guy by the name of Mad Mike Hora, who was a World War II vet who lived to be 100 years old. I think he died just a couple years ago.
That's an insane stat.
Yeah, but he fought in World War II and all these other conflicts and stuff. Like, this was just a guy that was a warrior. He did nothing but fight. It was like the only place in society he fit in. And Commando 5 ended up saving a bunch of people down there and basically making it so Joseph Mobutu, I think is his name, ended up the guy that you've seen like a million times with the leopard print, like little hat that he had. Yeah, he ended up getting in charge because Commando 5 kind of sided with him. And yeah, these guys did like all the grunt work. They did the heavy fighting. They had a large group of Belgian loyalist Congolese people that were also helping them. So, I mean, these guys went through hell and back to try to like do what the UN couldn't do what the Belgians couldn't do. And this became like a sort of proxy war between the Soviet Union, who were just looking to, you know, fuck over the West and all that shit. So now there's all these Soviet cheap weapons like coming in and all that. It was a total clusterfuck, but they made the best of it that they could with what they had. But I just ever since I've like learned more and more about these guys, they're like such fucking weirdos and just it's just insane that this was like something that actually happened in real life, because you see this in like movies, like, you know, John Wick has like the Continental Hotel where there's all these dudes who are just assassins and that's just where they hang out. Like, that actually happened in real life. Here was a place where just a bunch of assassins and warriors and guys that just killed for a living just all got together and
freed a nation.
Yeah, helped create a nation and shit.
In that B-roll footage you showed, there was one guy like early on who had like horns or like a raccoon hat or something that looked a lot like that fucking shaman guy who's like in prison now for the January 6th thing.
I looked him up. Apparently there was a skunk skin hat.
Oh,
there's our eye patch, dude.
Shots the human skulls, just chilling.
Dude.
The parrot. There's got a parrot.
That's a great parrot too.
Is this what is this footage from? Is this actually from the fucking...
Yeah, this is a documentary crew was sent down there with Commando 5 to actually go and see what they got up to. So like the gunfights and shit you see, like where there's like it's like really far away and you can see like a shaky cam like going down and, you know, hiding behind stuff. Like, this is all like actual combat.
Whoa!
footage.
Holy shit! Holy
fuck!
Dude, go back 5 seconds. Go back. That was like a scene from an action movie where they're running and the trail bulls
cows
like,
going
chasing
nuts.
them right behind them. Or one segment too
This
late.
is actually fucked. Dude, no.
This would make a good Call of Duty campaign.
Oh,
The kind of vibes it's given. All right.
Call of Duty free Congo.
Perfect.
That's right before
Jesus.
the crime happened.
Jesus.
But America just didn't really want to get involved with this too much, and they heavily outfitted Commando 5 with pretty much everything they had: the M1 helmets, the Colt 1911
Tons
pistols,
of FALs.
the tons of FALs.
A war that America didn't want to get involved in. That.
Well, it was a PR nightmare because they were the ones who pushed hard for decolonization in the wake of World War II and kind of pushed. We were the big boys on the block. We're like, look, get rid of all your colonies. We're letting the Philippines go. We're following suit and all that. And then it was mostly Belgium's fault because they just had no plan of what to do. They were just sign the papers, and then you're like, all right.
Because they didn't have any other colonies. They didn't have any other
that was their big money maker too. Was the Congo. It was just so much arable land over there. Some of the most lush farmland on the entire continent.
I've got a fun geography fact I know about the Congo. The closest capital cities in the entire world are Kinshasa of the Democratic Republic of Congo and Brazzaville, literally on the other side of the river, which is the Republic of Congo's capital.
Like Detroit and Windsor, they just chill.
Yeah, if they were capitals.
Can you go to satellite view really quickly? I want to see the eye of the Sahara again. That thing always go out top left, upper left, like up in the Sahara Desert. Where's that thing? Yeah, right there to the left. Left. No, left. More scroll left.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, this thing? What is this?
Look at that thing. That's the billion-dollar question. What the fuck is that?
The reshot structure. A geological wonder. A 25-mile dome known as the Eye of the Sahara.
Only thing like it in the entire world. Some people think it's Atlantis. Some people don't know.
Oh my god.
You can see
Rusty, I need you to make a video on this.
Dude, I've watched hundreds of hours about this. This is amazing.
Oh my god.
So there's the thing that's okay. You can't even go out there and visit. The government has actually laid landmines in the sand. Like, you're risking your life to go out there. It's completely lawless. Sounds
like a job for Commando 5.
So
it is really weird. We've talked about this before. Like, this isn't the first time me and Rusty have talked about this.
Oh, dude, they got a bakery.
They got Domino's.
No, there's no McDonald's out there. No, nothing. I
was gonna say, what's the McDonald's test for the Eye of the Sahara? Can we see what the closest McDonald's to the Eye of the Sahara is?
So the thing that's crazy is the size and scale of it. Like you just can't appreciate it till you're actually on the ground. But so one of the debates is if that's actual salt from an ocean or if it's a different type of deposit. But I feel like if you look into it, people think a giant tidal wave kind of came across the northern side of Africa, came across, swept down. You can see the erosion going down towards the coast. So all this water erosion, they believe, is from like a massive flooding event. Yeah, so that's the theory. Some people say it's wind, some people say it's water, but nobody.
That looks like water, but
yeah, all the water used to be like underwater at one point, like that.
Yeah, so there used to be massive rivers that flowed east to west through the northern part of Africa. Now, they're gone.
And if that's an impact crater, like, that's the weird thing. The one in the Yucatan that supposedly made the dinosaurs go extinct, that crater is tiny in comparison to that thing. And the one in the Yucatan apparently destroyed all of life for hundreds of millions of years. So if the little one in the Yucatan did that, what the fuck is that structure? That's 30 miles wide, just in the middle of the desert.
It's super.
I've known about this thing for 10 years, and it's really interesting. There's still not many answers about it. That's the weird thing.
Well, yeah, they think it could even be a volcano, which is, imagine a 30-mile volcano.
Dude.
Krakatoa 2.0.
What if it was a crack in the Earth's crust and a bunch of lava pulled up and solidified weird, and it would just kind of ripple out and then get closer in?
That's but it's what, a spiral.
Yeah, do you guys know about the Devil's Tower in Wyoming? No, there's nothing else like this in the world. How was this either from Nobody knows. Nobody knows how this thing was formed, but it's like
look at the picture of the Devil's Tower. I'm pretty sure I drove by that while I was in Wyoming.
That one, I'm pretty sure it's well established as like some sort of volcanic thing that like it was.
We need a fact checker
that
on
rose
this
up.
friggin' show.
Dude,
we don't know
DT,
what
nobody knows. Nobody
about.
knows what this is. This has been thousands of years. Nobody knows what this is. Well,
No, it's a tree trunk.
It's a tree, bro.
Oh my
Rusty,
god.
Rusty, I believe
that
that's
one down. It's like American
Rusty.
lore.
Dude, why do you think they based Elden Ring off of?
I believe this has been long established that this is an old volcanic structure that was underground, and then all the like earth around it like eroded over time. But that didn't because it's way stronger. I thought this. I literally learned this in elementary school like 25 years ago about this thing.
Rusty does have trouble with elementary school knowledge.
I've stated like 3 different theories on this thing. I've never said which one I believe. I just think it's fascinating because it's like this flat area, and then out of nowhere, it's thrusted up on top of this hill. There's nothing else like it in the area. It's insane.
Cool.
Wyoming's full of shit like that. Where there'd be like a whole bunch of nothing, and then like this massive rock structure that's not like anything else around it. And you drive for another hour, and then there's another thing that's completely different, that's completely unlike anything else in the area.
Wyoming is where Yellowstone's at, right?
Yes.
Big Wyoming fans. This is the second time we've talked about this show.
Don't fall into the hot springs.
The sulfur springs.
Dude, oh god! You hear about that story? That one dude that like tripped into the springs one time, just melted away, just because like no one could bend him down to save him without like them getting killed too. So it's like, all right, sorry, you shouldn't have wandered off the path.
It's like the dudes that get selfies at the edge of cliffs and then fall off.
Those dudes that do like parkour on like the side of a skyscraper.
It's gonna be me with a race car one day. I'm gonna try and take one of my work selfies, and the last picture of me, it's just gonna be like a tumbling race car like right behind me. Does that?
I'd be like me at Sycamore in the stands looking at the midget flying right towards me.
All right, we're gonna open some emails, I think.
Send in your fucking mail. Wash your fucking hands, slap. Send in your fucking mail. Send them in, guys.
Send them in,
Wash your fucking hands, slap. I don't give a fuck, man. You better send in those emails at this point. Welcome to fan mail. Fan mail. Fan mail. Fan mail.
Fan mail.
Boom.
Yeah, show my screen.
Dude, I gotta put deodorant on.
Don't out Cody for putting deodorant on before the show. Hey, if you put deodorant on, send us an email, shrimphourspresents@gmail.com. We'll take questions, comments, concerns, anything interesting. And maybe we'll read on the show. So the first email comes in from Tussle Snow 24, which is a commenter I've seen before, I think, on my own stuff. And they say, "Hi, this is my first email. I caught up on this dead podcast in 6 days."
Jesus, God in heaven help you.
I don't know if that's even possible.
You have lost significant IQ points. I'm sorry. That is tough.
I'm just trying to do the math.
6-day marathon of shrimp hours? That's not good. That's not good.
80 episodes times like an hour and a half. Like, can that even fit into 6 days? Like, hour-wise?
80 episodes. I'm going to say we have like a 1.3 hour average. That would be 104 hours or 4.3 days of continuous listening.
6 days is 144 hours, by the way.
So you would have to
listen to us basically every hour.
You would have to get like 6 hours of sleep, wake up, do nothing but shrimp hours, and then go back to bed.
Don't do it.
That's a dedicated fan right there.
Seek help. Anyway, the email says, "I've had the same Xbox 360 random generated username for almost 10 years. That makes sense, Tussle Snow 24. So I'm wondering what your first usernames were and if they were cringe or quirky. Also, I would enjoy if you did more gaming episodes. Examples like GTA or Slapdick if you're running out of shrimps." Long email over. That was like 3 sentences. Have a good one.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that's a short email by our standards.
It's a good question. What was your first, like, you're a small child, you're logging onto the internet and you have to make a username for your first game. What is it?
Hey, 2002, I've always been Slap Shoes.
Do you want to tell them the history of it?
Have I told the history of it?
I think you might have.
Blatant theft.
You can tell.
Like 2002, 2003, G4 Tech TV is still a thing, and there was a game show on it called Arena, and there'd be like 2 teams of like 5 dudes, and they had to play through a gauntlet of different games, and they got like there's some point system. Whoever had more points, was the winner. And there was a guy who was like on some team that got like really far and like was on it, week after week. And his name was Slapshoes, and he spelled it straight up, no numbers or anything. But I thought Leet Speak was cool because I was 12, and so
and it was 2002.
Yeah, and it became S1APSH0ES.
Slaps hose, and it's slaps this day. I
think
I had a few like just random. I used to just always just go like Davin, and then I have to put a number after it. And I like Jimmy Johnson when I was a kid, so I'd throw a little 48 up in there. But I just ran variations of that, or Divinium was when I ran a bunch. Those because I remember in like middle school or something, you'd have the periodic table of the elements at the end of your textbook, and they were still discovering new like goofy ones in like the 100 and some range, and the 117 box was just empty. Everything else at least had some like name or like something they'd throw in there, but it was just like 117th element, nothing there. So I was like, okay, Divinium, that's my element. And that's still my username on a bunch of things. Pre-drive-through. Yeah, on GTA, my Rockstar social account.
Yeah, those new elements that they create in like a hyper collider that lasts for like all of like 5 nanoseconds.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's still called Uninceptium, which is literally just 117. Like it's just the atomic number. Unless they came up with a cool name for it.
My original username was a little bit cringe. It was, I think I made it when I was 12, which would have been like fucking 2004. Yeah.
Ooh, it has a name now.
It was, what's that?
It's called Tennessee.
Was it made in Tennessee?
No, but it was named. It was named in 2016 after Tennessee. Tennessee.
It's Caleb.
Yeah, it's one of those things that like barely existed, but did.
Like California.
My original one was.
Yeah.
My original one was Sabbath Bass Dude.
I'm pretty sure if you still go to youtube.com/ Sabbath
I've tried to change the
Dude.
URL. I've tried to change the URL so many fucking times, and it keeps just changing it back. It's Sabbath Bass Dude 14, by the way. The original Sabbath Bass Dude like got deactivated or deleted or something. Then I need to make a new one at 14.
Dude. Oh, I wish I could show you. Oh, I can. This is youtube.com/ Sabbath Bass Dude 14. It just takes you to Cody's channel.
Dude, Cody H Gaming or Cody Hicken, I think that works too. But it's like it always defaults back to the like original URL.
Yeah, YouTube does this thing where like you can change the URL that your channel is, and it's different now with the handles and whatever. But if someone still just clicks on like your channel logo from a video or whatever, it'll still show your OG URL in the bar.
When you made your account 17 years ago, like.
I love me some Sabbath Bass Dude 14.
I liked Black Sabbath. I liked bass, and certainly was not a dude, but I maybe thought I was.
Rusty, you want to talk about yours?
Dude. Not really.
No?
I'm so old. I was alive when like AOL Instant Messenger was invented. And I don't even remember like the original name, but like I think I was in high school or something. It's like just imagine just using an instant messenger to like socialize. It is so cringe to even just bring myself back to that setting. But I think it was like Slap was saying, it was like a variation with like Leet Speak in it, just numbers for letters. It was so cringe.
Yeah.
Once I got into like the gaming side, my names were based off like a rapper named Royce the 5'9", so I kind of flipped it into other variations. Which
5'9".
Yeah, the 5'9". I think I might have shared that one in a previous show, but yeah, so it's something related to 5'9" mostly.
And still the number you run with. Big 59 fan. I I grew up in such a weird fucking window. My first social media was Google Buzz, which is one of those billions of Google things that
Google
died.
Buzz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
OG.
Here's a random question I got.
OGs remember.
Here's a random question I got. I'm sending in a fan mail. I'm a fan of the show.
Cody Higgins says.
We know I'm 28. We know DT's 77. Rusty's 59. What's Slap's preferred, like, racing
78
driving number? I think we've answered. Has it been answered before?
It's 78. Yeah. I know this because
Sounds like what your granddad used to race at Greenville Pickin' or something, right?
Well,
Or
he raced
else?
77. My uncle raced 88, so I was going to be 78.
Oh, okay.
I remember I made a paint scheme for, I think, an Ed Soundhead NASCAR Heat video of a Slab Shoes car based on his uncle's Greenville Pickens car with the number 78 on it.
I want to find that video. I want to find the NASCAR Heat.
Like many, I don't know if it ever got made.
Entertainment. Slap Shoes custom car video.
Because I made that one. I made a What If car. I made a Soundhead car for his Heat 5 thing. I made a few of them, and I think Ed made like 2 videos in like a Heat 5 season or career
Ed.
or something.
I wish he wasn't dead.
Yeah, it is a shame he's deceased. Remember,
he's deceased, just like his Super Bowl hopes.
if anyone asks, Ed's dead.
Damn it.
All right, next email comes in from Ruby. Ruby writes, "Hello, hey once again, Shrimps, big fan. My fan mail
I love
for
your
today."
ridge.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh man,
Sorry.
My fan mail for today is, what is everyone's earliest NASCAR memory since watching the sport? Oddly enough, mine was a Dale Sr. tribute video set to Take Me Higher.
No.
Or it was one of the multitude of crash compilations set to early 2000s butt rock on YouTube in 2005. I can't remember specifically, being only around 4 at the time.
I have vague memories of Dale dying just because of how like traumatic that was at the time, like just for everyone, and like even in the mainstream. But my first vivid memory was that slow-mo shot of Elliott Sadler floating on the fucking backstretch at Talladega, like from the turn 3 cam. Yeah, that's mine.
I can like definitively tell you my first F1 memory. I guess like NASCAR wise, I vaguely remember Jimmy losing championships at Homestead back in the day.
Yeah, where he didn't pit.
I think it was
Stayed out. Yeah.
I think it was 05 when he got wrecked and ended up finishing 5th. I think I don't know if I saw 04 or not, but I definitely remember the 05 finale when he was ended up 5th in the championship, and I was like, damn.
Don't make me feel old, because it's like your earliest memory. I was in fucking high school at that point.
I was 6.
Little kid.
My earliest F1 memory though was the Monaco race with I think it was Fisichella and Trulli. I think I've talked about this before. I think it was like 2004 Monaco when they just were locked together the whole race and couldn't pass. Because it's F1. What the hell's Cody doing, by the way?
He said he had to use the bathroom.
So
what was he doing?
This is textbook Cody. Like every time we're trying to start up the show, it's like, oh, I gotta go take a shower.
Oh, dude, it's his fan. Dude, he's got his fan.
Well,
that's the O2 cool. That's his finger.
I gotta go do the dishes.
Cody, what's your earliest NASCAR memory?
Did I not literally answer that?
Did you not?
It was
my Elliott Sadler.
Oh, it was the Elliott Sadler flip. I'm stupid.
God, you just don't fucking pay attention, DT.
My bad.
I was just making sure my internet didn't shit out, and like I didn't even realize it. Okay, I'm glad. Yeah, get fucked, DT.
My bad. All right. Next email comes in from Luke, the one who always gets mad when I don't put out the podcast on Wednesdays. Luke writes in, Slap, the only thing stopping you from getting the Ryder truck is the fact that you're bringing back Slap's crazy ass moments in history. Thanks, Luke.
That's the only thing keeping me from.
That's gonna be a future. That's gonna be a future slaps crazy moments in history.
Hey, I'm over here at the Ryder Truck rental dealership. Y'all about to see some shit you ain't never seen before.
All right,
well, you may have seen before once.
The next email comes in from Jace. It says, hello, Shrimps. I have an Animal Planet story and a question for y'all. So a few months ago, I was riding home from work with my dad, and all was normal until we're about to turn off the main highway. We noticed a car about 100 feet away from the exit in a driveway. And I'm guessing what happened was this joker wasn't from around here, and he proceeds to turn around in this person's driveway, drive backwards down a 4-lane highway, and drive up the same exit we're fixing to turn onto. This guy's Southern. And speeds off like the cops
right next to
are
a
after
freeway
him.
exit. That's what I want to know. Who is a driveway right next to a freeway exit?
There's some weird American shit like that. Nearly hit a couple cars in the process and somehow didn't cause a wreck. All while he could have just driven a quarter-mile more down the road to the north to the next exit and continued on his route.
What's his name? Bub Rub?
My question is, what state out of all the states you've been to have the worst drivers? My personal pick would have to be my home state of North Carolina, as you're either a really good driver or a really bad driver. There's no in between, and the bad seems to outnumber the good 9 times out of 10. From Jace.
I gotta say that the driver IQ of the people of Idaho's might be down in the toilet. Like as soon as you cross the state line from like Utah into Idaho, it's like everybody just is taking their brain into a blender and just forgotten how to drive. Like I watched some dude in a Tesla just like he was just like constantly like going between lanes, like not really paying attention to what he's doing, and then he just like fucking bodied somebody. Just didn't even check his mirror, didn't look over his shoulder, just decided I'm gonna switch lanes now, and then bopped somebody.
Trouble. I've got a 4-way tie, I think, between Minnesota, Illinois, Michigan, and probably Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, I understand.
My experience from the Chili Bowl, like I just remember just zillions of terrible drivers on my like short drive to and from the hotel the 6 days I was down there. And that's the only time I've really been in Oklahoma. And that was 2 years ago now.
I will say this about our email guy. Like he said, he's from North Carolina. It happens a lot in South Carolina too. I see this on the road all the time as a UPS driver. But if people miss their turnoff or they realize they have to turn around and go back, they will panic. And instead of looking for a parking lot or something or a cul-de-sac they can turn around in, they just panic. They go schizo brain and then like, oh, I block traffic and turn right now. I'm like, dude, like you're not in a fucking hurry. You've been driving 5 miles an hour under the speed limit the whole fucking time. And you missed your turn off. Just try to find some place to turn around at. Not that big a deal, but they're just like, nope, gotta turn around now. Fucking block traffic, just do all this shit. They'll be doing like a 5-point turn, trying to get turned back around and go back the way they were. I'm like, dude, there's a cul-de-sac right there, 20 feet down the road. And it just, it might be a Southern thing, might be just people who live in the suburbs or some shit. I don't know, but they freak out and they don't think. They panic and they're like, gotta turn around, gotta do it now.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot more, not a lot more, but I've always been watching a lot of dash cam compilations. I'm a huge fan, especially just like the weekly releases where it's not like insane, like people flipping and dying. It's just like dudes being dumb on the streets. And the amount of people that'll just miss an exit and just like try and like skip across the little bit of road before it ends or like stop. I've seen videos of people just stop and like back up on the shoulder to try and make an exit. The amount of things people will do instead of just driving an extra 5 minutes up to the road to the next exit is insane. These people get like,
I'm sure you've seen the clip.
In.
I'm sure you've seen the clip, yeah, what you just described, where someone like missed their exit, they're trying to reverse, and some semi truck comes and like swerves and like tips over and causes like this massive like fiery pileup. Meanwhile, the guy who caused the entire thing is unscathed and he continues back up and just drives away.
Yeah. He tried to like cut across a bunch of lanes to make an exit, causes a massive pileup, and then is like, oh, and just drives away.
No, he's not, and he wasn't even on the shoulder. He was like in like the middle lane or something, trying to like fucking reverse, like to get back to the exit.
God.
These are the people we share the road with, ladies and gentlemen.
There needs to be a checklist when you like first get your license of like, if you miss an exit, go to the next one. Turn your goddamn lights on at night and don't sit in the left lane. That's it. Roads would be way better.
I was driving back home tonight, and there was a guy who had his running lights on but no headlights, and he's got people, like he's just like going down the fucking road. I'm like, bro, at no point did you ever think to yourself, "Damn, it's fucking dark out here. I can't see shit."
Yeah, I'm seeing this more and more every year. I feel like people who just like.
I understand if you're in like a. I understand if you're in a really well lit gas station or something, and then you pull out into the main road, and then you drive for a little bit, and you're like, "Oh shit, I don't have my lights."
It's dark. Yeah,
yeah, I get that. I mean, I've done that before, and you're like, "Oh shit, it was like really well lit. I didn't realize my headlights weren't on. Now it's not so well lit. Let me turn them on." Like, I was at a Smash Brothers tournament. I was officiating. And I had a guy who was like,
might be the nerdiest sentence you've ever said.
We're not gonna gloss over that. We need to talk about that.
He's got like a 3-hour video about it.
Yeah, it was actually a good
tournament organizing. But I had a guy who was with me, and he was helping me run the whole thing. And like we like go our separate ways. We get paid, and he's like going the same way I am. And I just see him like in the back, and I'm like, bro doesn't have his lights on. I'm like, bro, I'm trying to like text him or something. By the time I can finally like find him in contacts while I'm driving, like, turn your fucking lights on. I see red, white, blue lights behind him. Cop found him.
Yep.
And he drove like literally 2 miles without putting his lights on. And I'm like, he calls me about it later, like, dude, I got a ticket. I didn't have my lights on. And I was like, bro, when you pulled out, did you not think like it's fucking dark out here, man? I can't see shit. Yeah. Like, dude, like I just don't know how you drive that far and don't realize what's happening.
And dude, even if I'll like blink at them sometimes, like I feel bad if I just keep blinking at someone with their lights off, because usually they figure it out, but sometimes they just, I don't know where people's brains are when they're driving.
It's not quite as bad as the guys that just straight up have their lights off. But yeah, I see it all the time on the highway where people on the freeway, they just have their blinker on for like 20 miles and just don't fucking realize it.
I don't see much of that. That's crazy.
They're either just blasting music or they're just lost in their own world. They can't hear the click, 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 like indicating their blinkers on like every second and a half. And yeah, they just go miles and miles. Finally,
I hate the people who like, and it's a heavy rain or something and they don't put their lights on.
Yeah,
like I told y'all when I was going down to South Alabama Speedway last year, I just had like, as soon as I get into Georgia, there's like this massive like deluge of rain, and there's this fucking F-250 and a lift kit and these massive mud tires behind me, no fucking lights on, right up my ass. Like, and I'm like, he would like sort of like go back and then come back up forward. It's just like emerging from the mist with no lights on his big fucking red pickup truck. I'm like, dude, like, please don't run into the fucking back of me.
When people start riding my ass like that and they won't pass, I'll literally slow down to like half the fucking speed limit and literally like, hey, go the fuck around. Like, I just don't want to have my ass ridden. Like, you're obviously in a bigger rush than I am. I'm giving you clearance to go around me. Go ahead and fucking do it instead of sniffing my butthole. Like, it's not that hard.
All right, we gotta roll through some more emails because we still have 7.
Oh my god! We gotta condense some. I think
Oh my god!
We're gonna speed run them.
Yeah, I'll speed run. All right, Matt writes in. Hey Shrimps, haven't sent one in since episode like 56, I think. Just commenting on last week's setup. That was for sure unique. Not a bad idea for when no dudes show up. Anyways, big fan. I'm one of the 5 still watching, from Matt.
Yeah, hell
Thanks,
yeah,
Matt.
thank you. OG.
Thanks for writing in.
Harley wrote a big email about unfortunately couldn't go to the Rolex 24. Wishing the best for your grandfather. Glad to hear he's doing better. Kyle wrote in, absolutely nothing happened this week. I have nothing to say, and sent a picture of a paint scheme. So here's a NASCAR Heat 5 paint scheme with that off-axis Miami thing, which is, I think, probably the only good-looking sponsor in that video game.
No,
all right,
is that what it was supposed to be?
They all look good.
The next one comes in from Carl, who says, hi Shrimps, I got a chance to catch a little of the Monte Carlo rally this weekend. From what I understood, it was like race but rally. It's a dig at EA. NASCAR needs more of whatever that hillside was on night 1 of the rally. Screw stage cautions. We need fans setting off tons of fireworks in the stands. Did you see that, Cody? It was
Wait,
all
fans
around.
are setting off fireworks from the stands in the Rolex.
No, he's saying
based.
No, the Monte Carlo rally.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, let me find the clips. It went nuts on Twitter because I don't know how this worked. There was one valley in the Monte Carlo rally that was just filled with dudes, and it was a night rally, and they were just setting off flares and fireworks out the anus. And I still don't really know the meta, but this is one of the coolest things. And there's just rally cars racing through the middle of it.
Oh, that's sick.
Dude, this so cool.
Dude, it looks like it's on fire. This whole valley's like burning up. I gotta find I was scrolling through my likes to find it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, good thing this isn't Slap Shoes likes. This is racing. Oh, Cupid!
Oh no!
that was the clip of I'm lost in the sauce. That was the clip of
Swifty.
DT Swifty confirmed.
That was Fly Guy watching Cupid, and the Swift things were about how Taylor Swift is taking down AI, which is based.
It is.
I know it's not racing related. There was a video like from a few years ago. I think some like European country banned fireworks like specifically during COVID, and they were like being really strict about like, hey, no fireworks. And literally at midnight, like someone was filming from the rooftop. The entire fucking city is just lighting off.
Chicago banned fireworks like during COVID and all that shit. And they're like, yeah, there shouldn't be any fireworks going on, guys. And then like the news copter just sees tons of fucking fireworks all over the place.
Carl's question.
Bullets left and right.
Carl's question in an email is, what is your favorite firework related moment of your life?
When I realized I could buy 1,000 firecrackers for $10.
Damn.
Mine is when the tannerite
come in this massive long string, and I would like unravel them so you get individual firecrackers.
Oh, and, I think you've told this story before.
Yeah, and I had like this big popcorn tin that I would keep them in, and the dude would be filled up to the fucking brim. And like I would just go in the backyard every once in a while, like light them up one at a time or whatever. But when I got bored, I would just be like, all right, I'm done with all these. Light one of them up, throw in the tin, and just fucking annihilate the whole tin full of firecrackers.
This is the equivalent of Slap hitting the soundboard button whenever he's bored for 5 minutes, except he's just tossing firecrackers outside.
Hey, it started early, man.
My favorite firework moment also involves Slab Shoes. It was when the tannerite went off at Rotom. Just long after the fireworks are done, like an hour later, just a huge explosion out of nowhere, and like literally 5 seconds later, Slab was out like a light. His head just peeking up out of the tent, just like looking around like a goddamn like prairie dog, just like looking around.
He stayed up for another like 40 minutes too. He was just up and awake and chatting with us.
Hey, like loud, sudden noises are my hyperfixation, and I need help.
All right. The next email comes in from our good friend from down under, Andrew R. Who says, "Good evening, all y'all. Kyle Larson made some comments this week about the salaries of Cup drivers not being as much as they used to be. He says he's guessing that the average salary for Cup drivers about $4.5 million now, which is down. Apparently, Junior used to make 22 mil. And in Jimmy's like 7-time season, he made 19.7 mil. Apparently, the highest paid driver last year was Kyle Busch at a solid 16.9.
What? There's no way. Damn. I thought the whole drama with Gibbs was like he wanted more than like $5 million a year. Dude, that would be nuts.
I don't know. This is not fact check content. This is from Andrew R. from Down Under. This is Australian stats here.
Yeah, it's no secret that there's not nearly as much money in the sport as there used to be. So
he does say that if you exclude Max Verstappen at $70 million and Lewis Hamilton at $55 million, the average in F1 is only 3.7. He says there's probably a lot wider money in NASCAR than F1, which is really weird to think about.
Those poor souls only getting $4 million a year. God damn.
Well, you got to think a lot of those F1
How are they going to
drivers
survive?
pay drivers that their parents' name is blue on Wikipedia, so they got that's where they're paying to have that job, not the other way around.
Its name is blue on Wikipedia. That's great. He says, "Is Kyle Larson right to talk about Cup drivers not making as much, or can they just not be paid as much anymore?" Which I say both. The sport is shrunk, so those people watching, there's money coming through it.
I mean, some of my coworkers are talking about this recently. It's like, just NASCAR, you like see all this like VIP shit and like what Steve Phelps and just all these higher ups are up to, and just the massive production shit they have, like 20 fucking semi trailers. But then they're just struggling to get like income on a basic level. Like, hey, we're gonna rent out like the stadium, but we're not gonna fucking sell tickets for you to come watch the heat races and shit. Like, it almost seems like NASCAR is just like, at least for like the higher ups and executives, like a big like glam show where it's just like a status symbol for them.
Rusty loves
where it's being funded. It's being funded by the ever slowly decreasing like sponsorship and TV money. But what are they gonna do? How are they gonna have like all this fancy glamorous shit like when like not even Peacock's wanting to fucking like stream your races anymore?
They never make budget cuts from the top anywhere ever.
Yeah,
it's always from the bottom.
Exactly my point. These people, like, as long as Steve Phelps has a fancy car and a mansion and like everything looks fancy on the surface, like, oh well, I have no concerns. Meanwhile, just plummeting ratings, plummeting revenue, struggling to get enough cars for a race, just struggling
That's just
to
good
fill
old
the
fashioned
seats,
listen right there.
Listen, listen.
I'm not saying anything new here.
This. The guillotine just needs a little chippity choppity.
Jesus Christ. All right, on to the next email before we commit another rider truck. Nick Man writes in, it seems the new Ellie Productions videos caused quite a stir in the NASCAR community about what the worst NASCAR season ever is. I didn't watch that video, but sure. Of the seasons I've seen get mentioned, 2015, 2018, the 550 seasons, and 2008 were the most common. I also saw Brockbeard mention 2013, so I'm including that as well. With that said, I'm interested in hearing what y'all believe to be the worst NASCAR season ever.
2023.
2023 was all right.
Nah.
All right.
Undeserving champion Mickey Mouse, pussy, neutered, not horsepower cars.
We had that in 2022.
Dead sport.
All right.
Yeah, and 20. Who the fuck remembers that Joey Logano won the championship aside from Joey Logano fans? Exactly.
Yeah, it was even numbered year Joey Logano, man. It's going to happen.
Yeah. It's coming up. All right. Last email comes in from Mark. Mark says, "Hey, Shrimps, I bought a set of core set this weekend."
2008, by the way.
Okay. And I've been playing it nonstop. I've been trying to find a good sim game for PlayStation, and Assetto is what I landed on. There weren't many options, to be honest, but I'm really enjoying it so far. I had to make a very janky fix to my sim wheel, though, as the plastic ring that held the bearing in place fucking exploded a while ago. And so I just filled the gaps with wads of tape. This isn't an official fix, however, I'm going to try and 3D print a new ring for it, but designing and printing takes a good amount of time. The tape is actually working very well for now. I'm surprised because this took like 5 minutes. So he sent in some pictures, and I don't know how you did this. Because this is a T300, right? Or it's a 150.
Fucking Christ!
I guess it's a 150.
Dude, he exploded that thing. How did that get exploded? Did you dip that in liquid nitrogen and throw it against a wall? Or
hit it with a fucking hammer?
Is that not a 300? That might be a 150. Because I have the 300, and that's the thing where you screw it in. But mine is way beefier, so. Yeah, I guess you blew it up. I don't know how you did that, but Jesus Christ. Shout out. Yeah, we
are down tremendous.
I can't tell if that's a 150. Oh, it is a 150. Okay,
it's
well.
Old-fashioned duct tape can't fix.
Don't fucking do that. Good luck with your 3D printing adventures, but yeah, I'm impressed, to say the least. It says, also, I'd like to know if Slap has ever heard of the USS Wisconsin and the Temper incident, which I think we've had requested before. Slap, are you going to take any of the requests for the crazy ass moments?
I'll look into it. Let me see what we got.
No.
Because that
Leave them wanting.
we have a list going now in the Discord. That we keep adding to. But I guess you know the segment is back from the dead. But unfortunately, this podcast is going to die after this episode. So thanks for watching the last one ever.
Do we have a title?
It was like 20 emails.
We do have a title. This will be called Shrimp Hours 81 Full Caffeine Schizo Brain.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
All right. Bye for now. Bye forever. See y'all.
Bye forever.
It,